initiate the shifts that you want to see.
That's good. That's good. And so just turning to you, Tashara, as well.
Yes.
Just as you being an author,
Yeah.
inspirational speaker, motivational speaker, just all in that in one.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about, because I know you can talk about it. It's time to put your best foot forward.
Ready.
Just with just with everything, like in some of your books you talk about how sometimes we all can fall, we can hit rock bottom. It could be
Mm-hmm.
through a divorce, could be through a job, yeah,
Correct.
phasing out, just anything that put us in our pit.
Correct.
And so when people they hear that, oh, okay, it's a new year, it's time that I
Mm-hmm.
put my best
Mm-hmm.
foot forward. How do people really get that inner you know perspective to say, you know what, it's time for me to really get moving. No more the lip service, but I got to get moving with my action.
Great question. So I can only speak from my own experience. And what I can say is pretty much what you just said. I knew I was ready for change when I was done talking.
That's
We
good.
can all get busy and used to our addiction or get addicted to our struggle.
Mm,
Okay. We
that's
have that
good.
same story. Oh, woe is me. I'm in this bad marriage. Woe is me. My job is hard. Woe is me. My children are bad. Whatever.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, what you're doing when you keep repeating that story to yourself, you're pretty much programming your mind to
Mhm.
expect more of the same, right?
Mhm.
I knew I was ready for change. I knew I was ready to leave that toxic marriage when I was done talking. I was done going to
Mm.
counseling. I was done talking to friends. Let me tell you what he did this time. No,
Oh, that's
I
good.
got quiet. So putting your best foot forward first, it's
Mhm.
isolating, meaning you have to withdraw yourself a little bit from the crowd. And I know that's hard for many of us to do, especially
Yes.
in America. According to social media, you're supposed to be on and popping all the
All the
time.
time.
If you're not
That's
on the
true.
scene, what's wrong with you? So, unfortunately, putting that best foot forward first is isolating because I got to withdraw. I have to listen to this inner spirit that has
Mhm.
always been with me, but I've muffled it with my activity.
That's
Going
good.
here, going to this club, dating this person. When I was ready for change, one, I had to isolate myself so
Mm.
I could get quiet.
Mhm.
My favorite statement, be still and know. Many of us don't know how to be still. We're afraid to be still. What are we going to find? Well, I'm going to be lonely. No, 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 no. Withdraw
That's
yourself
good.
first. So, first, putting that best foot forward is first isolating. Second, it is an ownership. It is an ownership of all of your circumstances. I call it radical responsibility.
Mm.
I'm now responsible for everything in my life.
That's
There's no more
good.
blaming. Can't
Mhm.
blame the ex husband, can't blame the mom or the dad for the. No, I did that. And only those people who are ready for real change,
Mhm.
only those people really who are ready to take full responsibility for themselves can really change. I
That's
mean,
good.
anyone, a person who decides to lose weight, they keep blaming McDonald's, they're not going to lose the weight. They
Mhm.
have to say, I brought this upon myself. So, first, isolating yourself.
Mhm.
Second, radical responsibility. After you are ready to do those two things, then it's just a matter of figuring out why you want to do this.
Mhm.
Is it for your children? Is it for you? Why?
Why? So finding your reason why. So on that
Mm-hmm.
note, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have more with Mara and Tashara. Mara, we'll talk about in our next segment just really about, as you've been working within the community,
Mhm.
what is a community vibe? We always want to talk
Mm,
about that.
Mm.
It's different things that you hear. The community needs to get more involved, or
Mhm.
or our officials are not doing enough. And we want to
Mhm.
get your perspective on really what is the current state of our community. This
Okay.
is Power Talk with Stephanie Knows. We'll be right back.
so
Girl, you done got good. You done got real good.
Welcome back to Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles with TGN Power Play Radio Network. So glad you can join us on tonight. This is our first show for 2023. My special guest is Mark Butler and also Tashara Robertson. We've been talking about a twofold subject. Really, as we're talking about, it's time to put your best foot forward. So really just eliminating the excuses and everything on getting the new year started. As we know, it doesn't take a calendar year. You can change in a day, you can change in a minute. It's just your decision to change.
Right.
Also, we've been talking to Mark Butler also in regards to it's time to take a stand. And we know the work that he's done within the community and just really just trying to get, we can make a lot of excuses on, why our communities are like they are or what needs to be done. And, what's the responsibility for the individual as well as those that are our political officials within the community. So, Mark, we'll start with you. So, what is your take just on the community vibe? I know you work a lot within Dallas County. And so, just from that perspective, ever since you really got in the trenches, what have you really seen?
I think that's the magic word, Stephanie, is when you said getting in the trenches. As you know, when you first started, you can pictures that we shared together years ago. I used to, be here with the vest and the glasses and the, nice ties and everything. And but back then, I was just speaking on the subjects. I was the motivational speaker, inspirational leader, and I have since extracted all of that and just said that I am the messenger because I am required to do different things. As I begin to be active, more people begin to hear about what it was that I said and wanted to know how to get that done. And when you are amongst a lot of people who don't know how to get it done, I get into the position to where it's like, I can show you better than I can tell you. Let's try to do that. And better yet, let's try to do that together. And so what we try to do is change the trajectory by first really becoming an example of what that change actually looks like. So at the end of the day, if I'm showing up into the neighborhoods that I'm trying and the people that I want to serve, and I'm trying to ignite change, I have to first be them. And in order to be them, that connection I'm already afforded the opportunity to knowing what success looks like. But let me come down to your level and give it to you in the way that you can understand. And what it is this all of this in a nutshell is called, for me, kingdom work. Really, just knowing exactly what it takes to get action to really implement formulas of action. So I built these ecosystems that actually pulls in everyone. So you already know, that I go across the country and I'm speaking with commissioners and mayors and everything. And I was just in Houston with people. My mentor was Dr. Miles Monroe as he was getting awarded, his day, Miles Monroe Day. And it was just so happens to be the first day that was my 10-year anniversary from me being released from prison. See, I don't even think that you knew that. I didn't even think that you knew that I was ever locked up before, because I instantly changed my life because I knew, like Tashara said, I knew what I wanted to do. Now I just make a living teaching people that I'm not the exception. I'm an example of what you can do when you decide to apply it. So I teach people how to apply. So once I did the violence interrupters team, which was mainly really repairing grown people, getting them back. They were broken. They were traumatized. They were hurt. Having meetings with counselors and mayors and governors and stuff like that, and teaching them, and state representatives, and teaching them, if we can be a little bit more empathetic with our planning and our budgeting, we would see a difference. And this is how you do it. You do it with connecting everyone, having everyone work in concert as a system. That means law enforcement works with politicians work with hospitals work with schools work with neighborhoods work with community leaders, getting them all to work into concert to accomplish one goal at a time. We can see the difference.
That's so good. And hearing you talking, it just seemed like it's twofold on what you're both saying, because even to Shar, where we left off with you, you're really talking about also the action, not serving the lip service.
Nope.
Because it takes work. We can talk about a solution, we can have the brightest idea, but who's going to get to work with it? And when you talk from an individual perspective, and let's go back to that about putting your best foot forward, that we can have these goals, that we write them down.
Right.
We can have good, well intention, on wanting to accomplish them. But let's talk about in that too that sometimes, we give up too soon. And let's talk about that as well. Because sometimes you look at the person, they can see the Tashara in chapter 50, but they weren't there for the Tashara that was in chapter 20
Hello.
that may have been trying to overcome some things. So let's just talk about that in between time, because I like to be real with our audience, because some things just don't happen overnight. And let's talk about that as well.
It doesn't happen overnight, but what I have learned through my transition, through my own emotional work, is behavior is built on beliefs. Our actions are driven by our beliefs. I'm in a toxic relationship or dealing with a man who has decided to be unfaithful to me in a marriage, but I choose to stay. Why? Is it that man's fault? No. Again, we're talking radical responsibility. I now ask myself this question, and I will ask our audience to ask themselves this question. What am I believing about myself where this behavior is appropriate? Okay. If it's the behavior of other people that you're accepting, or even if it's your own behavior. If I don't want to be obese, why am I eating this? If I don't want to do this drug or this alcohol, why am I doing this? What is the belief that's driving the behavior? See, I call us emotional scientists when we really are ready to change, because you start analyzing your own self. When you get in this mode, I don't have time to worry about what Mara's doing. I don't have time to worry about what you're doing.
Yes.
My calendar is full because Tashara is analyzing Tashara. I have gotten so molecular about what I do, every little thing. Ooh, I said that. What was I thinking? What was I believing that made me do that? I don't have time to blame anyone else. So until you get there where you can take the reins back and say, I did that, then you can say, you know what? I don't like that choice, but guess what? I can make another choice. And that keeps us going in the in-between time.
That is so true. And, as we're looking to wrap it up, this particular segment, Marv, with your experience going into 2023, and I know there's goals that you have that you want to see us to go a little bit further, as a community. What are some of the goals that you want to see for us as a community within Dallas County?
The main goal, the main word for 2023 is value in every single perspective. Every single, no matter what it is, if you are alive and you are living and you are breathing, you have value.
True.
The problem is that we seek more value than we're willing to offer. And what we don't understand is we miss the magic, is that when you begin to offer, you actually you acquire more than you seek. And this is when I began to put things down, and I was in my little lane, I was speaking. I can still go on the mic. I can still go. Don't get that twisted.
We believe you.
But when I was speaking, I was offering value, but I was offering with the expectancy of a return.
Come on.
But when I started just offering and just to offer it, now I'm in 4 different, lucrative businesses that I wasn't even expecting, that came as a result of value that I offered, just because it was. So if I were to leave something with people, I want you to, one, look at yourself and figure out what is it that you have that is valuable now. And I'm not even talking about tangible things. I'm talking about the intangibles, the things that you can say. Your life experiences matter because you went through something that somebody is currently going through. With your advice, you can pull them out of. When you render that, you offer value. When you offer value, then you think of, who can I give this value to? And then next thing, once you change them, you encourage other people to bring value to other people. So this is the year of value for me.
That's so good. And so, Tashara, just turning to you as well, on about, like we said in this segment, about really putting your best foot forward. And so, if you could offer up our listeners just your final words on really to encourage someone, because like I said, sometimes people are afraid to really speak, to say what they're going through, what they may be struggling with. But if you could offer up a word for them, if they were listening to you tonight, what would you offer up to them in regarding that?
First, let me say, all that is resides in us. I need you to sit with that statement.
Mm.
All that is, the creator, source, resides in us.
That's good.
Period. Regardless of what the world tells you, regardless of Instagram and IG,
Mm.
all that is resides in us. Now, that spirit has been dumbed down. Okay, you haven't had a chance to listen to
Mm.
that inner guidance because we're so used to these cheap dopamine fixes, right?
Yeah.
Go get on IG, get a quick high, go shop, get a quick high, go on this date. Da, 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 da.
Moving.
But until you be still, I'm going to just encourage us
Mhm.
one day, every day, just 5 minutes, just to sit down. No TV, no phone,
Mm.
nobody. Just be quiet, be still. And eventually, I want us to work up to about 15 minutes a day, maybe about 3 times a day.
Mhm.
See, our friends in the East, they've been trained to do this, okay? In other cultures. In America, you're talked about if you're not on the scene, if you're not dating somebody, if you're just sitting at home being quiet with the TV off,
Mm.
okay? But you have to understand they call it TV programming for a reason. They call it radio programming for a reason. We are
Yes.
programmable beings and we have been programmed. Now you get a chance to do some reprogramming, okay? But it
That's true.
starts with being still. So your
That's true.
activity once a day for 5 minutes, be still and listen.
And so as we wrap up more, we know you got a podcast you've been working with. Let us also know how to get in touch with you as well on your social media platform and your podcast.
Well, everything that I do is Mar Butler, Marbutler speaks. And when you go on the YouTube, the podcast is, which is what I named it after yours, was just Speak on It with Mar Butler instead of Power Talk with Stephanie Knows. I started my podcast after you. I was so impressed back then. But it's not doing halfly as nearly as well because you got to be present in order to do it, right? So, but I would like to take this opportunity to talk about the organization as that's where I'm passionate about right now. My queen and I, we in the real estate company, we actually found out a way to have a nonprofit component in the real estate program, and it's a year-round community leadership development things for the main things that we talk about right now. So I want to raise a community of young leaders that are trained to take care of their own community rather than waiting on us to get involved and trying to encourage them to do the same. If they are raised to do it, then they can take their own initiatives, and then they can lead forward, because it's time as we get older to learn how to pass the baton.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then Tashara Robinson, let us know about the books that you have. I know you can get them on Amazon, correct?
I'm always on
She's on
Amazon. So there are
Amazon.
3 books on Amazon: From Pitiful to Powerful, From Pitiful to Powerful, the workbook, and From Pitiful to Powerful, the planner. All of my social media handles are Tashara TJ Robinson. And if you look at my social media, I'm just going to be there to encourage you. Drop
Yes.
some knowledge,
Mhm.
drop some inspiration for the day. If I can do it, anybody can do it. From a stay-at-home mom, married for 19 years, divorced, left, had 4 kids, the youngest was 2, just pretty much went back to work about 7-8 years ago, and saying, I can do this.
That's good.
I can do this. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
I'm here.
So you heard it right here on Power Talk with Stephanie Knows. When we come back, we'll be here with our next guest of the night, Tikisha Johnson. She's going to get us ready for 2023, all the fashion tips that you've been wanting to hear. And also, too, you don't have to spend an arm and a leg to change your look in 2023. We'll be right back. This is Power Talk with Stephanie Knows.
I might need to stay here then.
Do we stay or go?
Okay. No, they gotta go.
Taking out there.
Yeah.
Good to see you again.
Can you come over here to a podcast? What you doing? You got everything here for you.
That's why I say I have to be present about being trying to do.
Welcome back to Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles, right here on TGN Power Play Radio Network. We are here with my final guest of the night, Tikisha Johnson. So glad to have you on our show. How are
Thank
you?
I'm good. Thank you.
Yes. So, actually, just so pleased to have Takesha on our show because this is just it's so much I can tell you about this young woman, but she is really a truly gifted person that can really bring fashion to life. And so, sometimes we think, and Takesha will talk more about that. A lot of times we think we got to have the most, a lot of money. We have to have different connections. We have to have there's certain gifts and talents of course that you could help and bring out for certain people that may not be that
Right.
fashion type person, but still I like the way because in modern day you
Yes.
bring a different look to the
Yes.
fashion. So first start off and tell me just a little bit about what interests you into getting into the fashion industry and the network.
Yeah. Okay. So, I've always been into fashion, into retail. It started when I was younger. So my mama used to take me to the thrift store when I was younger. So I was that child that always went to
Okay.
thrift store and already dressed that way.
Mhm.
I was different. Eclectic back then, so I was known as the weird girl. So I would wear bright colors and all this kind of stuff. So
Nice.
as I got out of school, I went to school for fashion, and then I ended up going into retail and
Mhm.
was actually styling people in retail, of course, helping people find clothes. And then
Yeah.
I just pretty much made a business into it. But I
Mhm.
always had the thrifting in the back of my pocket and would always go. So that was just a part of it.
And that's becoming actually a thrifted. It's really becoming so popular now because I
Yes.
know you've done several challenges, and one of the challenges that I love that you did was about being on a budget, $50
Yes.
and under.
Yes.
So that one right there, because I would look and I said, "Oh my, how did she do that in $50 or less?" But just kind of tell us, you just like dispel like the really misconceptions about going to a thrift store. You can't find anything there
Right.
and all of that. So first of all, let's just start there on just how now that has become more popular
It
on
really
about going to a
has.
thrift store and putting together different looks.
It has. And I see it more and more. Like I pull up to a thrift store and there is a line around the door, and I'm just like, where did this come from? People didn't shop at the thrift store at all.
Exactly.
But I think the misconceptions used to come by, they would think it was like, because I've heard it too, like, oh, those are old people clothes. How
Mm-hmm.
do you know that's not somebody's clothes that has passed away, or or it's
Mm.
all vintage clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and I would get vintage clothes as well, but then there's stuff that people drop off that is modern. But
Mm-hmm.
in people's mind, when they think thrift stores, it's like, oh, hand-me-downs. Or I always get, hey, I'm going to a 70s party. You got something 70s, so that's what they think,
Exactly.
that's what it is. But
Uh-huh.
it's really not. You can find some jewels there for real.
And you know what? Throughout the program, throughout this segment with Tikisha, you're gonna be seeing some of the looks that actually she has put together. On just it's just amazing. And I know your latest challenge. We'll talk more about that a little bit later. But I want to spring that on our guests is really about how in 30 days. This is the new
Yes.
challenge. 75 looks in 30 days, and what you got in your closet.
Yes.
For a lot of us, that wouldn't happen because we're looking for the nearest store, trying to find something new. But the creativity and like you said, it's all in your closet.
It is.
It's a lot of things that you can put together in your closet. So I know I don't want to give it away, but there's one look you've already posted it, but you took an outfit, a dress,
Mm-hmm.
and you changed that dress. You put that dress together 3 or 4 different times
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yes.
and had a completely, totally different outfit.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that concept. Because at first I know you wore the dress, it was just a black dress.
Mm-hmm.
Then you put a sweater over it. So tell us a little bit how you got that.
So it does come to, you do have all this stuff in your closet. You have to think outside of the box with the items that you do have. So
Mhm.
with that challenge, I did do a dress that I made into an everyday wear or comfortable wear with some tennis shoes. Because it's a fringe dress, people always think that, oh, I got to dress this up. Oh, I'm going to
function.
some
Mhm.
kind of function. But it's like, no, you can wear this every day. So I put it to make it casual on one look. And then the next look, I made it really pretty much like if you're going out with some jeans. So I just wrapped a little jean belt around it. And then the third look was like if you're going to church, if you're going to some kind of event or something that you can do with it. But really, the sweatshirt that I had on was it was a sweatshirt, but it had fringes on it too, so it kind of looked like the dress. But yeah, it's made the dress, wore it as a dress, and then turned around and wore it as a skirt. So you have so many items in your closet you can really do a lot with. Like I sat and looked at my skirts alone and was like, I can do 75 efforts with just my skirts. So it's like but you got to play on it. So
yeah. So we're gonna take a short break, but when we come back, this is not just gonna be a segment just for women. Of course, we think, sometimes we come to that bias as well, but Tikisha will be giving us some more information on men, on how they can dress up their fashion and their look as well. This is Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. Welcome, Stephanie Knowles, right here on TGN Power Play Radio Network. My special guest of the night is Tikisha Johnson. We're here starting the new year off right, 2023. If you want to spruce up your fashion, want to get a new look, nothing wrong with that. A lot of times on our show, we always talk about the inner, taking care of the inner part of you, but also you want the outer part to look good as well. So Tikisha is here to share some information with you. We just got through in our segment just talking about sometimes you can look right in your closet and have a different look. But this one right here is going to show us in 30 days, 75 different looks in 30 days in your closet. So make sure you'll get more information on her, where you can find her on her social media platform, so you can actually see this transformation over the month of January. So let's start there as well. I know we've been talking about, of course, this has been geared to women. Women are always like, I don't have anything to wear. And let's talk about that first. So is it still within the fashion industry that certain seasons there are certain colors that you should wear, or we have just totally got rid of that
Yes.
whole concept?
We have totally gotten rid of that.
Yeah.
I think any color is acceptable now. It's how you put it together, though.
Okay.
That's always been my thing. Is it's the way you put it together. You can get stuff from anywhere. You can wear any color, but it's how you rock it. If you rock it with confidence, you can rock anything. So
That's true. And then also too, for a lot of women, we can be the most self-conscious.
yes,
Now there's certain outfits or certain, like, if you are more slender, you can wear a
Mhm.
certain type of dress, more like an A-line dress. What is your whole thought about that? On just how, like, different shapes and sizes on different colors.
Mhm.
We've heard like, don't wear polka dots and stripes, it's gonna
Yes.
make you look bigger. What is your take on all of that?
So I'm like the wrong person to ask because I wear anything and I mix every pattern possible.
Yes,
So like
you do.
I feel like if you're not afraid to do it, but
That's
just make sure
good.
that when you do it, that you feel confident in what you do. Because what you can't do is come jump out there and put on something because you see somebody else have it on.
Okay.
And then the whole day you're like picking at yourself, like picking at your clothes, because now you don't know, oh my gosh, I don't feel right, because you jumped out there and you weren't confident with it.
That's good.
So but I think now I don't look at it as you have to. I mean, well, there's with precaution. Let me say with precaution, with the right undergarments. You
Yeah,
can
that's
rock
good.
things, but it start with your foundation, with your undergarments, how you place them, because you can. With they're starting to make stuff in sizes, in plus size and in junior sizes, or in smaller sizes, so people, you have the opportunity to wear it. I think it's making sure that your foundation is correct first before you put it on, and then you should be okay.
And I'm
So,
glad you brought that up. That's so critical, like you said, the right
mhm,
undergarments, because now there's so much out there. Like, if you go and get the proper garments that will,
mhm.
if you're, everybody does not have that perfect body.
Right.
But if you can tuck in certain areas, get a smoother look.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you brought that out, because a lot of times when you show your different looks as well, you have on the proper garments
do.
to get to achieve a certain look. So
Yes.
talk a little bit about that if people are kind of course, as women,
Mhm.
you know, I think sometimes people have not been educated or trained, and you know, as in fashion, you know, you probably go to different functions and so you just be like, okay, come here, you know, if you could, but you know, in a lovely way, because you want
Right.
people to look their best. So let's start there about, you know, first of all, getting the right garments and making sure that you can
Right.
achieve the right look.
There is there's a whole lot of garments now that we can try that you could put on, because I know you know a lot of people like the waist trainers, but
Yes.
some waist trainers had the snaps that you can see through your clothes, so they've
Mhm.
made new items now. Like in one of my videos that I've done, I was going to just put the whole video out there of me putting my garment on because I have the wraparound. I actually
Okay.
like that one better because it's actually smoother and you don't see the snaps and all that kind of stuff.
That's good.
And I was going to post that, but I have to get comfortable. I'm not quite there yet to just be like,
Yeah.
hey, here I am, my undergarments. But
Mhm.
there are different ones out there. And I do see a lot of people, or even at photo shoots that I go to, I make sure I
Good.
bring them with me
Mhm.
because a lot of times people that are doing photo shoots, they don't think about that part of it.
Mhm.
And me being the way that I am, I want to make sure your pictures they look good all the way around. So I'm going to bring those undergarments regardless, so to make sure that you have something and that the picture is smooth. But I think now, if there's so many different options that we have out there, Amazon sells them. You can get them pretty much at any store or any online site, and you should be fine.
That's true, because even with that, because there was one, I think you had one garment that it had this smooth look to
Hmm.
achieve that, and those are one of the some of the things that I would say on your do's and don'ts. So let's just
Hmm.
start there on some of the garments, like you mentioned. Sometimes the snaps, we don't want the snaps
Hmm.
showing. What are some of the other things that you would suggest as like would be a right off don't in suggesting and preparing for the right look?
I think that making sure that you also have like the right bra size, the right
That's good.
bras, going
Mhm.
to get sized. Um, Also, the garments that the undergarments that they're making sure that you have the right one and it actually fits. Because I know a lot of times we could tend to wear our body shapers a lot longer than what we're supposed to.
Oh,
So
okay.
you can see like your lines in your pants or your skirt you have on the
Oh,
shorts. So
that
sometimes they're a little bit smaller. So just making sure that you have them and they're up to date. I know that kind of sounds weird, but
mhm.
that if you notice you got holes in them, that it's time to get a new one,
Yes.
because we'll run one out.
Mhm.
When you find a good one, we would definitely run it to the ground. So just making sure you updated so that you're not seeing an extra
Yeah,
lines
that
through your
makes
clothes because you're
sense.
trying to hide that, not show it. So
And these are just all good reminders, you know, good
yeah,
friendly reminders. Because a lot of times, you know, if you don't really have that good confidant or that good
right.
friend or that good, you know, person that can really tell you, sometimes we just kind of want to do things our own way.
Hmm.
But this is good tidbits. Like I said, you know, there are a lot of things in 2023 we want to be different in, want to change your
Hmm.
attitude, also changing your look, spiffing that up a little bit. There's nothing wrong with that. You want
Right.
to feel good inside and out. When we take a quick break, we'll be right back. I'm going to be talking more to Tikisha about just the men and their
Hmm.
fashion as well. This is Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. All right, welcome back to Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. Glad you can join us for our first show of the year 2023. We're just excited to have our guest on the show, Tikisha Johnson. Been talking about fashion and getting us ready for 2023. Like we said, we always talk about your inner, but you want to make sure that your outer look is looking good as well. So we're talking about the women. Now we're gonna
Hmm.
switch over a little bit to the men and you know, with men and men's fashion, how do you deal with that any differently? For I know it's different with because it's men, but just from their perspective and what they're looking for and what they want.
Um, Kind of. It's
Mhm.
a little bit, just a little bit, not a whole lot, because men they don't have as many choices as women have.
Mhm.
So it's either like pants, shorts, and a button
Mhm.
down. That's pretty much what you're getting.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
I don't have that many options. So no, not really. Not really.
Not really.
Yeah.
And that photo that you're looking at right now. Oh, I love that photo. That photo that's actually your family.
That's my family.
That's
Yeah,
her family.
that's the
That's her,
boys.
yeah,
That's
that's the
all the boys.
boys. That's her husband, the boys, everybody.
Yes, and
So
that all came from the
all
thrift store.
style, yeah, that too, yes. And so just in achieving those, don't be afraid. And I think that right
Right.
there, that was an indication on how you really brought that out to life. Don't be
Mhm.
afraid. We see that those different looks in the movies. We saw those different looks in
Yes.
just stuff that they used to wear back in the 70s and all
Uh-huh.
that type of stuff. But when you bring it back to life, it's like, okay, not really being afraid to have that different look. So
Right.
from male's perspective as well. So what is kind of like the more hottest thing that men are wearing these days? Are they going more in trendy on the real dressed up look, still kind of casual?
Yes.
What's really in now?
It's more they are dressing them more. You see a lot of more fitted suits, more
Oh,
tailored
yeah.
suits.
That's right.
And even into the clothing, like the denim and their bottoms are more fitted now too as well. So
Mhm.
I think it's more of a tailored look versus when we were back in the day, it was more of a baggy look because you were
Yes.
trying to keep up with whatever was going on in the hip hop industry and all that kind of stuff. But now
Mhm.
everybody's a little bit more mature and wanted to look more mature, and the sexy gentlemen that you have coming out now, all the bearded guys. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's a little bit different. Everything's more fitted now.
That's good. So, in styling, we're talking about men and women. So let's talk about styling couples,
Okay.
because I know that could be getting them on the same page. So, what are some of the things that you're looking for, like when you get ready to style a couple?
Hmm.
And I know it depends on which function, what type of event they're going to. But
Hmm.
what are some of the things that you look at as far as their personality or things on how you want them to really truly define who they are within their
So
style?
I start off basically with the questionnaire, just so that I can get a feel of them,
Mhm.
and I ask them to answer certain questions to down to the point of where do they shop, because then it also
Mm,
gives me kind of a
that's
feel of, okay,
good.
so if you shop at this store, but I'm going over here, then I don't know if you would pretty much like it or what.
That's
And then
good.
also favorite colors. Um, it could be pretty much anything. I also like to see, I'm a visual person, so I typically ask them to send me a picture, a face for a picture so that I can look at them. That gives me, picture tells a lot for me.
Mhm.
And I'm able to kind of go from there
Mhm.
with the picture. So, and usually when it is a couple, it's mostly the wife. So and it's
Yeah.
like he'll get whatever, just match
Get
him.
with the
Yeah,
program.
just
Yeah.
match him up to what
Nice.
we have. So
Mhm.
but yeah, so it usually goes off of that. But yeah, I'm more of a visual, so I can kind of tell a lot with just a picture.
All right. And so we'll take a short break. When we come back, we've been just hearing all the great things that you do. We'll talk about your services and just kind of put people at ease, because I think some of the things like, okay, I don't know, by getting a stylist, what does that mean? And
Right.
what you can do for me. But when we come back, it'll be more with Tikisha Johnson. This is Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. Welcome back to Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. This is our final segment of the night. Glad you could join us on this first show of 2023. We've had some amazing guests here. They've actually been just giving you just a lot of information on how to actually put your best foot forward in 2023. So I'm here with Tikisha Johnson, just been talking to us literally about fashion. And so a lot of times we don't hear about that, if you have it all together, that's fine. But there's also many ways that you can do to improve on yourself, improve on your look as well. So we're gonna take a look at some of the different looks that Takesha has put together. So this just talk about if you want to talk a little bit about that particular look or
So this is me on a normal basis. This is a thrifted look. Everything came from the thrift store. But if I could dress like this every day, I say I have a different. I have my casual, my play clothes, and then I have my TikTok clothes. So my TikTok clothes are my dress up clothes. But this is me on a everyday basis. I love to just be casual and just throw on something.
So is it important for people, different individuals, like you said, you have your own, everybody should have their own brand or identity on who they are and how they feel comfortable. Do you think that's important? I mean, you can change up
It
your look
is.
however you want to, but like you
Yes.
said, what really define who you really are?
I think people will know you if you are being your authentic you. Like that's me on a normal basis. I don't like shoes, I don't like heels, but I'll put them on for the videos. But if I could dress like this all the time, that's just how I am. And I think that it's me being me. Like I have my whole motto is be you. Because if you're busy being somebody else, who's being you? So like this is on a casual basis, that's me.
And it's different, like you said, different colors. We don't have to be confined to a certain color or color pattern. It's just like you said, how you put the look together.
Right.
So that's nice. Okay, that's another.
So that was one of my thrifted look.
That's a thrifted look.
Yeah, so that's when I did the challenge. I did an $8 challenge in the month of August. So 8 days, $8, and that was one of my outfits for the challenge.
And you would think you spent $300 or $400 out of dress.
No, and in fact, that was a robe. So,
and oh goodness. Now this, I love that denim. I remember you did the denim look.
So we actually did that for both of our birthdays. My daughter's birthday is 3 days away from mine, so we did a denim look. And so I made that denim. It was just a big denim jacket, and then her pants and stuff. Created all that for her. So I like to take pieces and throw them together.
Yeah.
And then we did a whole look got some teens and some tweens and did a whole little what we called a gap campaign. So
and see, I love that because you look at the individuals, they're being boldly. It's the kind of like you said, it's the confidence. It's the
So, and all of them, they're all teenagers, but they want to be models. So it's like, and they did really good their first go around. So
that is really nice. Okay, that's another look.
Yes, and this is one of the androgyny looks. So she's a model that we worked with that you could actually go either way. So she can dress as a male or as a female. So I did both parts in one look for her. And then that was another one of the teens. She's getting into modeling, so we did a shoot for her.
Oh, that's beautiful. Is she a teenager?
She's 16. Yeah,
beautiful. Okay, so even with all those different looks, of course, the next question, someone out there is going to be like, okay, how do I get in touch with you, contact you to upgrade my wardrobe? So tell our listeners how to get in touch with you.
Okay, so I have a website. It's iamthevisionista.com. I'm also on Facebook under Tikisha Johnson, Instagram under Tikisha _the _visionista. And then of course I'm on TikTok at the Visionista. On my website, I have the pricing, the listing of my services that I offer. Of course, I offer styling. I also offer consultation over the phone, FaceTime, whatever. I also offer, if you're looking for, if you want to put an outfit together and you want to do something out of your closet, I can come to your home, and we can pick out something there. Or of course, I can go shop for you for your event. If you want to do a photo shoot, I'll style photo shoots, all of that. So,
Oh, okay. You sell photo
yes.
shoots. Okay.
Oh, and the background studio is our studio. So I have a studio
Okay.
with setups as well. It's a photography studio. So if you have a photographer, you can bring them in, or we have photographers that we use within the studio, and you can use the different backgrounds. And it's myself and an MUA. So we have an MUA in-house as well as a stylist.
Okay. Okay. So y'all, okay, you heard it here, 2023. So when y'all see me with my stuff on, y'all know I contacted. So of course, so this is great. When we take a come back, we'll be back real quickly. Just a quick break with Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. Welcome back to Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles, right here on TGN Power Play Radio Network. So glad to have our guest tonight, Tikisha Johnson. When we end for tonight, I want to show you two looks that were Gucci inspired looks. So this is one.
Yes. So this actually was, I worked with a group of individuals that wanted to do a Gucci inspired look. And so, of course, I went out to the thrift store and found everything that I could find that was.
Wait a minute.
All of that came from the thrift store.
That came from, no.
That came from the thrift store.
A minute.
It's all thrift store.
That came from a thrift store?
Yeah. All of it.
Goodness. Okay.
Even the Gucci purse.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you can't get it at a thrift store.
So yeah.
So you know what? We're done. I'm done talking. If you're looking, to upgrade your look, wanting something different, it don't have to be Gucci inspired. It could be brand, like we said. You can brand to the person, their identity, what they're looking for, whatever function, whatever it is. Or now people are going back into the office, so wanted to change your look. Also, people, whether you're remote at home, you got different functions you want to go to, want a different look as well. So wanted to thank all our guests for tonight, for joining us on our show, Power Talk with Stephanie Knowles. It was a pleasure. We're looking forward to a great year in 2023. We have some amazing topics that are coming your way, topics that you can relate to as an everyday individual. So we are hoping that you all stay tuned in for us in 2023. Our next show will be coming to you in a few weeks, next month. And we're going to be talking about It's Time to Take a Stand. We hope you enjoyed tonight's program. Good night.